In college writing, you are expected to use very specific examples and information from credible sources. It's important to learn how to document, that means give credit to those sources, how to paraphrase the information that you find, that means how to put the information into your own words, and how to make connections between another author's ideas and your own. In order to help you with this task, we have a tool that we've developed called the Reading Research Organizer. Essentially, it's a chart, and in this chart, you'll add specific types of information. Then you'll be able to go back and use this chart when you're writing your essays. I'm going to show you how to use this chart in this tutorial. First, I'll go to our Moodle page where you'll find the chart. Here on our Moodle page, you'll see that there is a Word document called Reading Research Organizer, and you can go ahead and open that document. Here is the document, and you can see that it's simply a Microsoft Office chart with 4 columns. Here at the top of the page, you'll be entering the works cited entry for the article that you're quoting, and you'll also make a note of how you'll cite that author in text. That means within the body of your paper. Down here is the chart with the 4 columns. In the first column, you're going to actually cut and paste a direct quote from your source. A direct quote is a word-for-word quote. In this column, you're going to paraphrase your quote. That means that you're going to put the quote into your own words. This is a great strategy to use when you're reading because it helps you focus on the quotes and information that will help you the most. And when you put these quotes into your own words, you'll be sure that you understand them completely. In this column, you're going to respond to the paraphrase or quote. You're going to make connections. You're going to react to what you've read. You're going to offer an opinion or perhaps ask a question. This is the column of information that's going to help you generate ideas and explanations that you'll use in your essays along with the quoted material. And finally, in this column, you're going to make a note of how you're going to be able to use this quote or paraphrase in your paper. You're going to talk about how this piece of information is connected either to your thesis statement or to the topic sentences of one of your body paragraphs. So you can see I already have parentheses here because we'll be putting the author's last name in the parentheses. And I've added quotation marks as a reminder that you'll be using word for word or direct quotes here. And in that case, you always have to give credit and you always have to put the quote in in quotation marks so it's clear that these are another author's words. Now I'm going to open on our page an article that we're going to be using in the first essay for the course. And here is the article, College by the Numbers. So I'm going to click on this article. And in another tutorial, I'll show you how to use Noodle Tools, which is a software program that generates correct documentation, such as works cited entries. So, I do know, however, that I'm going to need the author's last name, and it's McCarthy. So I'm going to go back over to my article, to my chart, and I'm going to place here in the parentheses McCarthy. And because I know that all sentences that have direct quotes in them work this way, I'll put the period after the parentheses. I'm also going to be using this same McCarthy here for my paraphrase, so I can cut and paste it right here, right now, if I'd like. I do this to remind myself that I have to give credit not only for another author's specific words, but for any ideas that the author comes up with or research that the author does, even if I put it into my own words. So I have my article open here, and we're writing an essay about whether or not college is worth it. And so I'm making a claim in my paper that college is worth it because it pays off financially and it enriches an individual person's life. So as I'm reading this article, I'm going to be looking for quotes or information that helps me make my point, and that is that college does actually pay off. So for the sake of speed in this demonstration, I'm going to go right to find a quote quickly that will help support my claim. So here I have a quote. According to the New York Fed, the average college graduate's salary is more than $30,000 higher than the average salary for a worker with a high school diploma. So I've highlighted this text, and I'm going to actually copy it right now. And now I'm going to go back to my chart, and I'm going to paste my quote right here. So I like to, when I'm pasting, I usually having a little problem here, right click on the mouse, and let's see. I'm just going to hit the paste comment, and then I'm going to hit undo. And now I'm going to paste, using this, the clipboard with the letter A that keeps only the text because I want the formatting the way that I'd like it. Okay, and once again, because the period goes after the parentheses, I'm taking the period out and adding the correct quotation mark in. And here is my quote now. Now that is a direct quote. And this quote actually, if I was going to use it in my paper, would be perfectly formatted. In other words, it's in quotation marks, it has an in-text reference, and it has a period that follows it. Now I'm going to go ahead and paraphrase this quote, which means I'm going to put it into my own words. So I might say, evidence suggests that Evidence suggests that college grads earn an average of $30,000 per year, more than those with only a high school diploma. Okay, so now I have a paraphrase. So I've put this into my own words, and in doing so, I understand much better what this quote is saying. So now I want to think about a response to this quote, something that can help it make sense both to me and my reader. In this case, I might just try to express something about how much $30,000 is. So I might say, for example, so now that I've responded here, I'm going to tell myself how this information, either the quote or the paraphrase, and my response is going to help me in my paper. So in this case, I can say that this information supports my claim that college pays off financially. So what I've done, just to recap, is I've used this chart to take notes from the article that I'm reading, to organize my notes, to put those notes into my own words, to offer a response or an interpretation that I'll be able to use in my paper as well, and then to remind myself how I can use this information later. When you go to write your paper, you'll be able to scan through this column to find the material that you need to support the different claims as you're writing them. So this is why we use this highly structured, organized chart to take notes, because you'll find that as you go along, when you're writing, in academic writing, the reading and the research is the real work of the paper. If you do this work, you'll find that it's much easier for you to come up with the kind of paper that we're looking for in college. And what we're looking for in college is a paper that makes a claim and supports it with very specific information and clear, thorough explanations of the writers, and that's you, you're the writer,